like your last semester of being here, you have to take an ePortfolio class. Whenever you first come in, you have to take an ePortfolio class too. I'm sure that you guys have already started on that. But in the last part, you really have to finalize everything. It all has to be complete. So this is my completed ePortfolio. I'm just gonna take you guys through and just show you what it looks like. I chose to go with like a bird theme, just because it was like freedom to make your own decisions and be yourself is kind of what I always go off of, and yeah. So let's go to my goals. So I originally had professional, academic, and creative goals, but then I realized that I could just combine my professional, like that could just be an encompass of my academic goals, and like my creative goals are also somewhat academic because of the fact that I'm a fine arts major. So yeah, it's just basic things about wanting to, and I've kind of already started accomplishing these things. For example, I know that one of them is to like draw people more and to do full bodies, and I started doing that this semester. And so yeah, my gallery, I have a bunch of different stuff, so I chose to categorize it into 3 different subsections. But you can literally just go through and click through my pieces like this. How do I get out of here? There we go. And I have my digital art. And so all of these stuff are pretty much from classes that I've taken here and or not taken here. All of these are from whenever I was at Western, all of this. And then some of my digital art is just from my own time. So with the ePortfolio, you have to have your course skills written down, and you have to have all your artifacts. I won't really go through that just because it's general stuff, we all have to do it. But I will show you like my AFA stuff. So for technical competence, I chose to talk about these 3 pieces just because I felt that it would show my ability in the different ranges and different mediums. And like this is a digital piece, that's an oil painting, and then this is just charcoal. And so I showed my ability through those pieces. Commitment to artistic quality. I just showed that that is where you want to talk about like your professionalism, how you can map things and everything. So I talked about how I created exhibitions in the library, how I made this piece as a donation for the community college's office in Raleigh. And then this is my graduate gallery exhibition that was a solo exhibition. And so it just shows professionalism and that kind of thing. Aesthetic judgment was actually I chose to talk about what was it? I don't even remember. Let's see. So this is my artist statement. I actually chose my artist statement for this, and for aesthetic judgment, just because then it shows that I have a focus in art that I want to achieve. And then knowledge of art history, I actually used an art appreciation paper comparing the 2 Davids by Bernini and Donatello. And yeah, and then just additional educational experiences. If you're in art club works. If you do work study positions, that would also work as additional educational experiences. So I just talked about what I did in art club and what I did as a work study and what I learned from that experience. And then to talk about my artist statement. So my artist statement, it has always been really hard for me to write artist statements because of the fact that I like to work in a lot of different mediums. I love photography, I love digital art, I love ceramics, I love pretty much everything. And I've done a little bit of all of it. And so I've always had that as like my artist statement, my final goal. was that I love variety and I want to be open to experimenting with tons of different mediums and tons of ways of creating expression in a creative way. But I realized that I really have to narrow it down to what I really love to do and what I really am passionate about and what really appeals to me and makes me feel like I am an artist. And so I chose to focus on my paintings because that is what I love to do the most. And then I kind of looked at all of my paintings in my gallery here and just tried to find a common theme that was going on, especially with the ones that I was most attracted to, the pieces that I love the most, which ones do I love and why do I love them, and what is it about them that I want to continue doing. And so this is what I came up with based on that kind of research. So my artwork is a representation of feelings in a visual form. I find myself daydreaming about my emotions and what makes me feel the way I do. I can usually find emotion in objects and circumstances that make me nostalgic and emotional. Whether the emotion is envy, excitement, or fear, I want to depict that emotion in a way that it can allow my viewers to feel that they can understand that emotion and relate to it simply because it is what makes us human. I occasionally like to include a high contrast emotion to my pieces, such as having a good emotion merged with a bad one. I do this because this is how my own emotions tend to work. I have a good feeling, but as usual, the bad feelings are always there too, so they should be in the piece as well. I do this by creating a character, usually a woman, that will depict the emotions I am representing. I will use oil paint to create my art pieces on canvas. I make the character the focal point and subject of the piece. To further my representation of emotion, I find objects in an environment that encourage or provoke that emotion within myself. I will then incorporate this environment and variety of objects in a surreal and dreamlike way in the background of my piece. I do this because I find people's feelings and opinions very intriguing and mysterious. Just by listening to people talk about their feelings makes me feel as if I am experiencing their emotions, but in a way that doesn't affect me personally. It is like a dream that intrigues me and I want to experience more, but can never fully know and understand like they do. That's why I like making my work slightly surreal. My artwork is a place where emotions are allowed to be experienced and discussed while furthering our understanding of how emotions are meant to be felt without guilt or fear of our emotions being wrong. So I am very emotionally driven, obviously, and that is how I like my pieces to work. Also, I like to discuss in this that I also talked about my process of creating a painting, how my mindset works with how I start a painting. That's always really great to include in your artist statement. So yes, this is my ePortfolio. Thank you. Do you guys have any questions? What's up?
We have a copy of your ePortfolio sent to us.
I'm sure that Miss Adams will still have it whenever you are in your ePortfolio class, and she can share it with you guys as an example. So yeah, anything else? Awesome. Thank you very much.